Hello, Desert Mountain. Welcome back to another edition of the Desert Mountain Podcast. I am Patrick McKenzie.
I am Michael Craven, and we also have Kim Atkinson with us back this week. How are you doing, Kim?
Doing great, thank you.
Fantastic.
This is the fourth one, so
yeah.
we're really rolling now.
Yeah.
Thank you for those of you who have been with us so far. We had a chance to speak with more of you at the Fall Bash this past weekend,
yes.
and so we're really excited to be doing this, and we're really excited to be in the season, and we got a lot of big events coming up. So one of those events coming up is the Day of Play.
Yes.
And I think with that in mind, we wanted to get a lot of insight, right, Kim, just about kind of what is behind that and what goes into it. And
well, this is kind of a big deal for our podcast because Craig, Sharon, you are the first members to actually appear with us
Welcome.
in the podcast studio. So this is a big deal. So thank you so much for being here, Mr. Mitchell. Sharon, we are so thrilled to have you here today.
Thank you. It's nice.
Thank you so much, and thank you, Michael, Patrick, Kim, and the club for giving us this opportunity to put in the light the Day of Play.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm excited to talk to you today because I think there are things that we are going to learn today as well.
Yes,
and I think everyone's going to learn a lot more about the background behind what it is, why we do it, and who it supports. And so, yeah, I think without further ado, let's
just dive right in.
Let's dive right in, as we do.
Put them on the hot seat, Mike.
So, as we already mentioned, Craig Mitchell, Sharon Wong, very, very
high profile.
Around the mountain. If you don't know who these two are, then you might be under a rock because I see them everywhere. They're involved in so much. So I guess I would just start by saying, can you talk a little bit about some of the things you're involved in? Because as we were talking before we started filming, you got a lot on your plate right now.
Sure. Thanks. And I want to start up by saying that no matter what we're involved with, we don't do this alone. It's always a partnership, either by committee or with the club, or in my case with my delightful wife, Sharon. If we volunteer for something, we each volunteer and we share with each other. So I'm lucky to have Sharon by my side with all the things that we're doing. But specifically, the things that I'm involved with currently are, of course, for this podcast, the Desert Mountain Foundation and the Day of Play, specifically for the Scholarship Fund. But I'm also one of the leaders, along with Troy Gillenwater and Bob Borsch, for the Desperados. On the HOA side, I'm on the Design Review Committee, and I was initially in the ranch strategic planning workforce with Damon. So a lot of things that we're touching this year. But today I'd like to focus, if we can, on the foundation and the scholarship fund.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you have time for all this. So thank you so much for being so dedicated to so many different things. And especially the one today is so meaningful and just so beneficial to so many people. Mm-hmm. So thank you so much for coming in to talk about it. So I guess the first thing is, as you mentioned, the scholarship fund is right. A big part of the DM Foundation. Why education? Why is that important to you? How did that come about?
Well, so one of the reasons I joined the Desert Mountain Foundation, because the education and scholarship was part of it. Sharon and I, through our adult lives, have found philanthropy in education high on our list. We give scholarships to all of our nieces and nephews on both sides. And we were involved with the Minneapolis College of Art and Design in their President's Forum, which is scholarship-based. And when we joined Desert Mountain, we saw that they had a foundation with scholarships. Because that aligns so well with our philanthropy efforts, we talked with each other, and I decided to join the board, and here we are.
The rest is history.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. I'm glad we were able to dive into that, because it's like, I think a lot of the staff here has taken advantage of it, and we'll get into the numbers a little bit later, but I know how appreciative people are of what you've done and what the foundation has done. So thank you for taking an interest in education and doing that.
Yeah. Do you have some history a little bit in terms of how long the foundation has been in existence at the club?
The foundation has been in existence for about 9 years, and its primary focus in the beginning was the scholarship fund for employees and their dependents of Desert Mountain. So the money that's donated here through this program either goes to employees or their dependents for scholarship purposes. So 9 years, $440,000 of donations.
Wow.
Of grants, not donations. Donations are what we receive, and then we grant people money. So
Fantastic.
$440,000.
Well, we definitely appreciate that. I know our teammates are very appreciative of it. We certainly speak to it when we're recruiting new teammates. So it's such a great benefit that we can promote when recruiting and hiring new talent to the club. So
Yeah.
it works all around for us.
And I would say,
go ahead, Sharon.
I would say that initially, and I was involved. When you get one of us, you get both of us. So when Craig joined the board, I was part of the team that reviewed scholarship applications. And when I started several years ago, it was mostly employees or their dependents applying for tuition reimbursement for college, community college, whatever. But it's also employee development. So if one of the golf pros wants to get some kind of special certification, they can apply, and we've done that, right? Or one of the masseuses wants to take a special program. And what I think has been great is that we've seen more and more employees apply on the employee development side. So they're benefiting directly.
That is fantastic. So ongoing education in addition to the reimbursement to those wanting to further their education in a college or university. I don't think a lot of us knew that. So that is an excellent point to raise today. So thank you.
Well, it's what can differentiate us as an employer in a lot of ways, but also on an individual level. Sharon and I share this. Education is what differentiates a person in their career. And if we can just give them one step forward in that direction, that's what we'd like to do.
Well, that's amazing, and I think I guess my next question would be, with Day of Play coming up, how does that tie in? How does Day of Play help us raise this money?
Great, good question, and maybe I'll go back just for 2 years. The Desert Mountain Foundation lost its primary source of funding when the Home and Lifestyle Party went away, and right after the Home and Lifestyle Party went away, our board went to Kim and Damon, and we were looking for ideas for fundraising, and everything was open. And in that joint meeting is where the Day of Play came about. And the Day of Play, the concept for Day of Play is actually pretty simple. People here, members here, enjoy these amenities to the nth degree. But really what puts it to the nth plus one is the staff that supports them. They make the day so special. And we thought we'd capitalize on that, plus our members' appetite for philanthropy. And if we could capitalize on that and capture people on their Day of Play with a donor card to say, how would you guys like to support the scholarship fund with this simple, painless method that's tax deductible? And we hand them a card, and they circle a big number and hand it off to us, and we charge it to their accounts, and it's done.
I love it.
Yeah,
that covers some of the questions I was quite curious about right there. Is just is it tax deductible? Can they charge it to their account? And it sounds like yes,
right,
on both of those.
That make it very easy.
Yeah, and they will get acknowledgement from the foundation of their tax deductible donations. So it's.
I think what was so neat about developing this concept with all of you was the Home and Lifestyle Party was a great event. It gave a neat opportunity for a lot of different partners to come to the table, for members to mix and mingle. We have a pretty robust calendar of events and activities for our members to participate in. More than 2,500, I think, for the entire winter season.
Oh my!
That's a few things.
That's a few things.
It's a few things. So what we loved about this, not being able to do it during COVID, was that this just became the no-brainer idea. Why stage something spectacular where we could really create something special throughout the club and have participation happen as part of everybody's day.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the day of play.
Right. Just on November 4th, you're going to probably be out there playing around at one of our venues. And why not capitalize on that and give a tip of the hat to the employees in this forum?
All right. Well, thank you for that, Craig. And just to kind of get an idea for the actual day, I guess for maybe members who have not been to a day of play before, just kind of want to paint the picture for what they can expect, what it'll look like from the standpoint of the Desert Mountain employees, from the volunteers, how it'll all work. Can you kind of paint a picture, take us through what the day itself will look like?
Sure. Actually, it's a good question, and this is only our second year, so we're learning as we go, and we get a lot of support from the club in this regard. The club is going to be decking out some tables for us, and I'll let Kim talk about that. But the members' experience will simply be, they're going to go on with their regular day of play no matter what it is, tennis, bocce ball, pickle, or golf. And when they enter the venue, there's going to be a table set up with a host of volunteers. And Kim and Passion have been working on that table and how that might look, and I'll maybe look to Kim to finish that.
Absolutely. You will not be able to miss these guys. The volunteers are going to be teed up, ready for members to walk up and say, what's going on over here? Maybe grab a little snack, a little basket of something to take on the go. But I've been told flags are involved, so this is something to look forward to.
Oh, boy.
Yes,
Okay.
Bandanas will be involved. We want you to be seen, and we want to be sure our members understand the day of play is coming. The date again, November 4th. All you need to do is go about your day and do what you were planning on doing. But when you see Craig and his team of mighty volunteers,
Yep.
we let you take it from there.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Kim, I want to talk a little bit about the volunteers, because we hit a gold mine this year in terms of volunteers. We had the idea that Craig and Sharon and some of the other board members on the foundation aren't as recognizable as some of the other folks. And so we thought, why don't we get sports ambassadors or sports influencers and have them help us out with the day of play. So we went to the golf pros and got the names of golf leaders, and we went to tennis and bocce and pickleball and got the names of the influential players in there, and got a list of folks, and we simply asked them if they'd like to volunteer for this day of play, and we told them what we were doing, and we had 40 volunteers in a week. So we've staffed these tables with not just the Desert Mountain Foundation board people who are engaged in this fully. 40 people have volunteered to give us a hand on the day of play. So now, Kim, I'm finding out that they're going to be wearing bandanas. Hopefully they're going to be purple and green, but they're going to be wearing bandanas, and the table's going to be decked out. And our goal is just to get a donor card in people's hands, and their philanthropy will take over after that.
I just wanted to mention that for pickleball, though, it's going to be on November 3rd, because that's one of their open play days.
Okay.
Thursday, the 4th, is not an active day for pickleball. So we had our pickleball volunteers educate us on the best day to do it. So
And they volunteered for 2 days.
Yeah, right.
Which
Even
was
better.
Which was
so they
great.
will be out there on the 4th. It'll just be more for open.
Yeah, so pickleball will be there the 3rd and the 4th.
Great.
And the volunteers for that are totally engaged. And again, they're influencers from this sport, so they know everybody in the pickleball game, and I'm sure we'll have some great results from that.
Do you hear that, pickleballers? You have 2 days, so the pressure is on you maybe a little bit more.
That's funny. Michael, you just raised something. Maybe we should have competition among the venues to see who can donate the most next year. That's it. No, I get it. I like the lead.
Well, and I'm glad you just even brought that up, because something else that I kind of heard about was the kind of the 1 minute how do you pronounce this?
One-upsmanship.
One-upsmanship.
Yeah.
Was something that took place kind of last year.
Yeah.
What happened there? And that sounds like a very generous, people kind of compete, almost like a bidding war, if you will. That's
Right.
what it sounds like to me. Is that what it was?
That's exactly what it was. It happened a couple times, and it wasn't at the table I was staffing or the table Sharon was staffing. It came from a golf table. Foursome came up, and a gentleman took the donor card and circled his large number, and the person, another person in the foursome said, "I can do better than that." And by the time we were done, we had significant donations just from that foursome. So there was some one-upsmanship among that team. And we hope to generate that interest this year, too.
I love that.
Yeah, it was really fun.
One-upsmanship between a group and maybe between different areas of the
Yeah,
club.
sure.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Wow.
I love that.
Such generous members. We're very fortunate and very grateful to you both to take the lead on this with us and help educate our members about the Day of Play. Second year in a row, still getting the word out and getting people used to what's happening. And I think we all talked about the biggest opportunity will be to make sure they know who you are when the Day of Play rises.
Right.
So were there any other things you wanted to cover today in terms of key points that we would like our members to understand about this?
Yes, something our members are always looking forward to. It sells out every year we have it. It's also part of our fundraising for the scholarship fund, and it's our biggest fundraiser actually, and that is the raffle. The raffle this year, the 2 grand prizes are a year of cart usage. We also have a private plane ride, and we're selling raffle tickets, $100 each, or 3 for $250. They're going to first go on sale at the demo day, and then they'll be online after that. And it almost always sells out within hours. So I want to give everybody kind of a heads up to be on the lookout at demo day to buy your raffle tickets. Great prizes, almost a 1 in 10 chance of winning. We're only selling 600 tickets, and we have 55 prizes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Can a couple of Friday Jam guys
Yeah,
buy a
right.
ticket? I want to plane ride.
No.
Right.
No.
Nope.
Kim, sorry.
she's
Cannot do it.
Yeah.
But the 600 is so nice that you can cap it that way to give everybody great opportunities to win. So
Yeah.
That's a neat-
and
neat
it
plug.
resonates so well. It sells out so quickly.
Fantastic.
And so in the end, though, I want to circle fully back to the employees. We've given scholarships to over 90 of our employees or the dependents, and it's totaled $443,000. And every penny of the donations comes from members and stays right here in Desert Mountain, and that's really what's special about the Day of Play for us.
And I would say we've had a couple of success stories where we've had dependents of employees who have gotten all 4 years of college paid for. So
Wow.
we had our
4
first-
years of awards.
4 years
Yeah.
of awards for college. So we had our first one a couple years ago, and I think we got a couple coming up here. So
Right.
that's great.
The-
And every little bit helps.
The awards for the grants for employees, they range from $1,000 to over $5,000 each year. They apply each year, and is graduated. Community college is less than a 4-year college. And if you're a freshman, your award might be less than if you're a sophomore. If you're a junior, it might be more than a freshman and a sophomore. So it's kind of a graduated formula that we use. But again, our awards are between $1,000 and $5,000 a year. And we also want to encourage all the staff to make sure their employees are aware of it so they apply.
Absolutely. Well, we'll make sure they listen to the podcast.
Yeah, I
for
don't.
starters.
Do they listen to the podcast?
We're getting the word out.
The
so,
employees get to
yes,
listen. Oh, they're good.
Oh, for
All
sure.
right, get your application in.
There you go. And truly, for any member who's interested in learning more about the foundation, more about Day of Play, of course, we have it on the club calendar. But we do have a page on our member website, DM Gives Back. And on that page, it has some great information and contact information for the Desert Mountain Foundation. We also have some details about CARE, another wonderful nonprofit on the mountain, and other ways that you can get involved in charitable efforts here at Desert Mountain. So
Right.
there's always a place to go to learn more and to get in touch with both of you to get involved.
Sure, that'd be great.
Awesome.
Okay.
I was gonna actually. I had like a little section written in my notes about like kind of by the numbers, but we really covered all the
Yeah.
numbers. You know, $443,000 raised over 9 years. You said over 90 recipients of these awards. I wanted to actually use we do a trivia question on the podcast every week.
Oh, do
I
you?
think we'll still do it. So, Craig said over 90. Let's just get an exact number, but don't tell him the exact number. Might be 91, might be 99.
Might be 89.
I don't know.
Might be 89.
So let's go with that this week for our trivia question.
Okay.
And that's just such a huge number, and that's just so many people who have been impacted. It's so cool. So I like kind of making our trivia question to go along with our guest. And
Sure.
God, what better way to
Sure.
than to
Love
focus
it.
on that many people who have received that. So let's do that. And if you do remember last week, this was an interesting one, and I don't know if you had a chance to hear this part of the trivia last week, but it was about wines by the glass. Desert Mountain members seem to enjoy their
wine. Yeah.
And the question was, how many wines by the glass have been sold on the mountain this year?
So far this year.
So I want to give an answer to this question. Now, I will admit that we were a little low on the guesses this week. So hopefully we're basically throwing you a softball here with the one today. So I really expect
We've
to have
given the answer.
Yeah.
Essentially.
So we gotta have some guesses this week. So marketing@desertmt.com. Please send in your answer this week. But I do want to give the answer for last week. And we got it in. I was high. I was very high.
I was very high as well.
I was like 15,000.
I would have guessed
like that.
I would have guessed way high.
Answer is 4,997 glasses of wine. So still pretty good.
Does that include if somebody buys a bottle?
It doesn't include bottle.
Oh, okay.
That's
Just by the glass.
By the glass. If you're at a restaurant.
So if they're buying bottles
You
of
include
wine,
bottles, I think you'd be a little higher.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We can do better,
We can
Desert
do
Mountain.
better,
I think we
Desert
can do
Mountain.
better.
Yeah.
Well, now that in Greg's podcast last week, Greg
Right.
told us that the pricing on all of our wines by the glass had come down. So
Oh, my.
one thing
great.
in 2021 that cost less than
Yeah,
it
right.
did
Yeah,
in
how can that be?
2020.
How does that?
And it's
Yeah.
How
wine.
can that be?
Yeah.
Amazing. So good. Well, thank you for the trivia question. Thank you for the softball. Trying to keep it easy, and we want folks to win a nice little retail gift card
Yeah,
too.
I mean,
so.
we're giving away free stuff. I mean, come on. Who doesn't like free stuff?
Very good.
So just before we close, as we always do, we just recognize some of the great shots that have been heard around the mountain. I have 4 to share with you this week.
Okay.
So I will tee them up, and you, as Kim mentioned, you're the first members to join us. So maybe you know some of these people,
Sure.
or maybe you don't, but we'll put them out there.
It's a big community.
All right, so we had the first one. This was one that we kind of missed. This was early October, October 2nd at Renegade. We had Rick Wolf with an eagle on 7.
Very nice.
Renegade.
Yay.
Congratulations, Mr.
Great.
Wolf. October 21st, an ace, a hole-in-one on number 5 at 7.
Finally, we got one from
We've
7.
talked about it. 7
Finally.
has been lacking, so now we had one. October 21st, that was Susan Mormon. So Mrs. Mormon, amazing.
Yeah.
On October 23rd, a hole-in-one
Another
on number
ace.
5 at Chiricahua. That was
Wow.
William Gracie. Congratulations on that. And then October 25th, Monday of this week, an eagle at number 5 on Apache, Mary Hoban. So some really good shots around the mountain, and
There's always a few.
keep them coming.
Always a few.
Keep them coming indeed.
Well, I'm just so honored to have had
Yes, the very first members.
the very first members
To the
and to talk
podcast.
about such an important topic. We will be there at
Yep.
Day of Play, and we're really looking forward to it.
Great.
So thank you for coming on and sharing
Thank
so
you.
much insight. And
Our
anything
pleasure.
Thank you for everything you do for our club and for our teammates. We appreciate it.
You're welcome. And the club has been a big support on this, in
Yes.
particular Kim and Passion. So I'm looking forward to, I'm breaking records this year.
beauty.
That's
Very
fantastic.
good. Good luck.
We're
Yeah,
counting on you,
thanks.
members, and we'll see you out there November 4th.
All right, thank you.
And we will see you next week.
All right. Cheers.
Thank you very much. Cheers.